And we're live, I think. Maybe, perhaps. Could be. I don't know. And my microphone is back being loud again. Big update here to the software that I use, OBS, which is free, so I don't complain. And apparently my mic is back, so I fixed it. Yay! There we go. Hey, Kimchi. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Sheep. Hey, Marcy. We're going to take a look at a Trump interview that was done a couple of days ago with, I don't know, Larry Flint or somebody on the Newsmax. The same station, by the way, which referred to me personally, your friend, your KevinlyFather, as a devious liberal over the weekend. In an interview with our friend, Mr. Matt Gaetz. So, you're welcome, America. You're watching yourselves a devious liberal. We'll watch that interview with Matt Gaetz a little bit later. Maybe today, maybe later. I'm soaking in it. Newsmax called me a devious liberal for my devious editing. I press start. I press stop. There was no editing whatsoever. You can see it in the video. You know how watch the corner of the screen. Look at your top. Let's see, top right hand corner of your screen. Okay, this is what I did. This is what I do. We should see a little green bar come on and says recording has started. Okay, here it comes. Let's see if it works. It doesn't want to work right now, of course. Come on, recording has started. Do it. Do it. No. All right. I don't know. Let's watch. I'll show you the video. I will show you the video, and the video has the telltale you can see on the top there where I stop and start this. Okay, let's see here. That was the interview. Okay, that's the old one. That's the, oh, I don't even have it. Yes, I do. I must have it. You guys saw it. Why? Why is everything so difficult? Oh, it is recording right now. Hold on. Let me stop it. Oh, okay. If I've got, this is Windows. If I've got a window open with Windows Media Player, it doesn't show up. But it does, in fact, work. I don't want to stop this. Anyway, if I show you the actual clip, just trust me on this. Did everyone have a good weekend? I think I did. Played myself a netsing match, tennis for you Americans, and it was a mixed doubles, and I played with my new friend Rona because we won. That's why she's my new friend. If we had lost, I'd hate her. So this is Mr. Trump on with Dick Morris. Dick Morris's dad was Trump's attorney. So it's an incestuous relationship in terms of a journalist, but let's just watch some snippets here, some clips, some highlighted that I have edited out of the main video itself. If you'd like to see the entire interview, you can go to newsmax.com where they have selected snippets, and they have the whole thing, and it's probably on YouTube as well. We are just going to be taking a look at, under fair use, and commenting on a political leader, just portions of the interview. We will not be watching the entire interview. I do encourage you to go and watch the entire interview, although the parts that I cut out are just complete fluff, your standard Trump nonsense that we've heard 100 times. A couple of interesting things in here. I moseyed through the video, I'll say, so I know what's coming up, but let's take a look here.
Now, I know you said, and I completely agree with you, that it's the right of every American to decide if they want to be vaccinated or not. But do you think we should require healthcare workers who are exposed to patients to be vaccinated?
Okay, Trump has said now many, many times he recommends everyone get vaccinated, but his followers are not doing it. And for whatever reason, the leaders on that side of the political fence are not sharing his words with his followers. He's almost irrelevant at this point in terms of the political spectrum, but he could actually be helping America right now. And I can't blame the man for saying, yeah, I recommend everybody do it. Remember, we watched the interview a few days ago, with the New York interviewee, the New York radio journalist. And several times he came out wholeheartedly in favor of getting vaccinated. I have not heard word one of that interview anywhere except right here on the live stream. So you're in the know, folks. But for whatever reason, we're not playing it. Here's what he says.
Well, I think we should certainly try and convince him. Look, I'm a big fan of the vaccine. I was the one that got it done in record time, less than 9 months. Everyone said it would take 3 years, 5 years.
That part's not true, but it was done. And remember, the Pfizer vaccine was developed completely independently of Trump, and that was the first one approved by the FDA. So we would have a vaccine without Trump.
And it's why people are getting better now. We not only did
It is why people are getting better.
that, we also ordered billions of dollars worth of it before we even knew if it worked, and that was one of the best bets ever.
They did, and that was a very good thing to do. They also turned down 200 million doses that would have gotten us to this stage much sooner. Thanks, guys.
Ever made, because they wouldn't have their vaccinations yet. But I think having workers, at least convincing them to try and do it, because, I believe
At least convincing them to try and do it.
in the freedom, I believe in all of that, but the vaccine really has been unbelievably effective, and it's saving this country, it's saving the world.
It is.
So, yeah, I mean, it's something that hopefully you could.
He talks about the vaccine as if it's one vaccine. Now, vaccine is one of those weird words that can be both singular and plural, just depending on the context of the sentence. So, because a vaccine is a bunch as well. But the way he says it, he's talking about just one vaccine. Now, you'll have the folks on the side of not Biden who will say that Biden said that there was no vaccine. No, Biden was talking about the 20 million doses of vaccine that went missing. Because again, vaccine is both singular and plural. If you're watching and you don't believe something I say, look it up. Just Google, is vaccine singular or plural? And Google will tell you. It's one of those weird words that it can be both. But because of comprehension issues on the right side of the fence, suddenly Biden didn't know that he had already received the vaccine. Again, we've looked at Biden giving Trump and Operation Warp Speed credit.
Convince people to do it. Keeping always freedom in mind, but convince people to do it.
Keeping always freedom in mind, but convincing people to do it. It is always both sides with Trump. Always. Well, I think we should have the chocolate cake, but at the same time, we should have strawberry, but definitely go with the chocolate.
Here. Why doesn't Biden?
Okay, so this is Trump on immigration. Again, these are just snippets of the interview. You can watch the full interview at newsmax.com.
Just instantly resolve his border problems by going back to your policy?
Question is something along the lines, why doesn't Biden just instantly solve the border problems by going back to your policies?
If he would have done nothing, we would have had right now the strongest border in history.
That is absolute nonsense.
All he had to do is nothing. I had everything worked out with the other countries, whether...
One of the biggest problems is that the Republicans, like, what's his face here? What was his name anyway? Dump? President Dump. Something about toilets? Anyway, he kept telling everyone if Biden wins, the borders are going to be open up. We're going to get rid of the borders. And now, Kevin McCarthy, just this morning, Biden opened the borders. The people in those countries see that. And many of them believe that the borders are actually open. They're not. Tens of thousands of people are getting expelled. They get into the country and they say, nope, you're not staying here. And they're out. Deportations are way down. That's different. That's people who are established here are taken and deported out of the country. They've been imported here. But the people arriving at the border, thousands of them are like, no, you're get out. You can't come in. The border is closed. Now, if you're an unaccompanied minor, you're a kid, you are welcomed into the country and we will take care of you because you're a child. And that policy is exactly the same as it was under Trump.
It's Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico, and even Mexico. Stay in Mexico. In other words, these people had to stay in Mexico, and they couldn't get into...
That's not other words. Always with the, in other words, it's exactly the same thing. Stay in Mexico. In other words, stay in Mexico.
It's Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico. And even Mexico, stay in Mexico. In other words, these people had to stay in Mexico.
Those are exactly the same words.
And they couldn't get into
Just one of the stupidest men on the planet. He really is.
our country. And he ended that. It is just crazy what they did. And the question is, do they do it out of incompetence, which I happen.
Oh, because the people asking for amnesty, the refugees, were being told, no, go back to Mexico, stay in the Mexican camps, which were not safe environments for them. So now we're trying to help people. Okay. Not the criminals. Again, these are families we're talking about. Most of the people trying to get in the country immediately expelled. Expulsion and deportation, two different things. Sorry. You have to use the word most there carefully, because it depends on how many being are let in, plus how many unaccompanied children, etc. I couldn't tell you the exact stats in terms of the majority, so I can't say most.
To think, or they do
A lot of people are getting expelled.
it because they really believe open borders are good for this country, which they're not. We won't have a country. They're destroying our country.
Now, you gained 8 points among Hispanics and 6 points among Asians in the last elections. And I think it's because these are folks who want to be Americans. They voted with their feet to become Americans. They dreamed of it. And then they saw the left tearing this country down, and they voted against it.
No. They were already Americans if they voted. Did he say they want to become Americans?
They did. And the question is, do they do it out of incompetence?
Hi, Producer Joanna.
Which I happen to think, or they do it because they really believe open borders are good for this country, which they're not. We won't have a country. They're destroying our country.
Now, you gained 8 points among Hispanics and 6 points among Asians in the last elections. And I think it's because these are folks who want to be Americans. They voted with their feet to become Americans. They dreamed.
Okay, they're already Americans, Dick. You can't vote unless you're an American, Dick. What an idiot.
Of it. And then they saw the left tearing this country down, and they voted against it. Do you think Republicans will eventually carry the Latino vote?
I think they have a chance because if you look at the Latino vote, it's very entrepreneurial.
Oh, Latinos are entrepreneurial. Okay, that's a nice thing to say, President Trump. What else?
These are great entrepreneurs. They're great business people.
Yeah.
They love hard work. They love money, and they make
hard working. They love money. They love making money. Those Hispanics. Oh yeah, we love the Hispanics. You know, the ones who are sending the rapists and the murderers, and some of them, I assume, are good people.
Making money, and they're very entrepreneurial.
Oh, okay. So we've established Hispanics, very entrepreneurial. Who else? What else can you say about the other races, sir?
And obviously, Asians the same way.
Obviously, Asians, very entrepreneurial. Love it. But we're not categorizing people at all. But I'll tell you what, those Hispanics, those Asians, very entrepreneurial. Thanks for letting us know that, Mr. President. How do you feel about the African Americans?
And I also did well with the African American vote.
Okay. So they're not the hardworking entrepreneurial types, but you did well. You did well. So good for you.
So we did well with everything.
You did.
No, I did well with everything. But I'll tell you what, those Hispanics, hard workers. The Asians, very entrepreneurial. We did well with blacks as well. He doesn't come right out and say it? Wow. It's like going down the line at a wedding. Hey, congratulations. Good job. Hey, you're going to be very happy. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, congratulations. This is really...
He got 75 million votes, and there's no way he got 80. Okay? There's no way.
He did.
You know that, and so does everybody else.
That's certified by all the secretaries of state, certified by all the governors, 27 of whom are Republicans, 29 secretaries of state, the vast majority of secretaries of state, Republican, certified them all, certified all the results, every single one, 100%.
President.
I don't get credit for the China deal either. Now, China changed a lot after COVID.
Again, these are just excerpts. So if you want to watch the whole interview, go watch it.
But before COVID, I made a trade deal with China that benefits.
Do you guys see my point about, oh, yeah, Hispanics, so entrepreneur. Chinese, super on it. I did well with the blacks as well.
Benefited us incredibly. We were cutting their deficits. The farmers are doing better now in the farm belt than they've ever done before.
That is complete nonsense. Under Trump, there were record farm bankruptcy. There was record farm debt. They were decimated by the tariffs, with the vast majority of funding set aside to help the farmers going to just 4% of the farms. The huge corporations swallowed that money. There was no organization in terms of making sure that the small guys got a little piece too. Other thing that was record during Trump's administration, record farm suicide.
They've ever done. The cost of grain. China buys so much under that deal that it made our farmers
do you think Biden's going to roll back? I'm sorry, sir. Do you think Biden will reimpose these tariffs now that he's in?
The tariffs are still there. He hasn't taken down the tariffs. The tariffs are largely to account for the inflation that we're having, because it's now there's a certain amount of back order in the supply chain. COVID hits, that slows it right down even more. So because of the tariffs happened. Trump put the tariffs in. We went into a manufacturing contraction because other countries weren't buying stuff from us as well. So you've got all the supply sitting around. Once that supply is used, well, then COVID hits, and there's no demand for anything, so it's not a big deal. Now that the economy is back under Biden, you're going to see a little bit of inflation. That's just natural because demand is way higher than supply right now. And that's good. We want a lot of demand. So a little bit of inflation is just fine. And once the supply chain can catch up with things, we're in good shape. Now, that being said, all of the economic rules are not really rules. For years, we've had a thrust of money into the Fed has been pumping money into the economy. This has been for 20, 30 years. And everyone has said now for the last 30 years, oh, interest rates are going to skyrocket. Oh, you can't do that. The interest rates are going to go to... And they haven't. They just haven't. No one knows why. Because you do it in a balanced approach and the market levels itself out. Now, saying that, we live in a faith-based economy and Bitcoin could blow us all up tomorrow. We'll find out.
We don't know what he's going to do, but it's very hard for him to end them because they've been so much money, billions and billions of dollars is coming into our country. And it's very hard for him to end them. He would have ended them already. He used to talk that he was going to end them.
Right.
But I think his people said, hey, wait a minute, we're getting billions of dollars and making our companies more competitive with the tariffs that I put on. So far he hasn't ended them because, where do you replace that kind of money? Billions, and China never paid us anything.
They still don't.
They didn't pay us, over the years, they didn't pay us anything, Dick. And now,
I don't know what that music was. Somebody's cell phone was going off. It wasn't mine.
Now all of a sudden we're getting billions and billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars a year. And no, I think he is...
Again, China does not pay the tariffs. They're paid for by the American importers.
I think he shouldn't get rid of them, that I can tell you.
Okay, next topic. See what it is
now,
together.
Sir, thanks to offshore drilling and fracking and Alaska drilling, you've always said correctly that we're energy dependent for the first time in 60 years.
That is not true.
But all of the...
We still import billions of barrels of oil. It's just not true.
Electric car batteries, the solar panels, and the windmills are powered...
There's no windmills, they're wind turbines.
...by rare earth minerals, and China has a virtual monopoly of them. You raised U.S. production by 44%. But is Biden just replacing our dependence on the Arabs with dependence on China?
Well, no. In February, in the first few days in office, Biden signed an executive order saying, we need to figure out how to get the rare earth minerals back. Okay, we need to be mining for these things, and we have to do it responsibly. I'm making this an executive order. And that was one of the executive orders. Oh, Biden is governing by fiat. Oh, the serfs are uprising. It just, yes, that was a very, very good thing. That's something that Trump could have done, but didn't. And then if I'm remembering correctly, the Department of Energy got like $30 billion out of the first stimulus package and put that towards researching rare earth elements, minerals. And then, if you look at the infrastructure plan that he wants passed that hasn't been passed yet, that includes all kinds of incentives to fix the supply chain so that we are not dependent on China for the supply of rare earth minerals. Rare earth minerals there's nothing really special about them. They're not that rare. We have them here in this country. It's just that China sort of has a monopoly right now on the production of them. That's where most of them come from. And they're used in circuit boards and your car and cell phone, everything, except shoes.
Well, we're going to be dependent on China if he doesn't do something about it.
We are dependent on China. We are interconnected. This is a global economy.
And China's getting away with...
By the way, he's already done things about it. I just talked about it.
Murder and with rare earth.
He could have done more. Biden could have done much more on rare earth minerals. I don't pay that much attention to them. But things are happening in the government. The government is functioning. It is working for the American people this time. As opposed to, oh, we had this great chocolate cake. You should have seen this cake. It was anyway, President Xi was there, and I was like, let's bomb Syria. And he's like, really? You can do that? And I was like, yeah, we'll play golf together. Anyway, it was a good time. It was so transparent.
This is so important. And, we have a place in California. They shut it down for environmental reasons. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They shut it down.
Well, I mean, the environment, we live in it.
Down for environmental reasons. And it's this beautiful, big, large, many...
And in China, they were doing it a lot cheaper. That's what happens. It's a global economy.
Many acres of land. It's got great...
Oh, wow. He knows all the specs. Many acres of land. Yeah, it's a mine, sir.
Great rare earth. And we shut it down for
Great rare earth.
Environmental reasons. It is crazy what we're doing.
Beautiful, clean, rare earth. So rare that you think you're looking at it, and it's not. That's not what it is. That's just normal earth. But then every once in a while, it's very rare to be able to spot it.
In this country.
And because of that, we can't make batteries for cars or for solar energy or for windmills.
We have to go elsewhere. We have to go to China or other countries, and that can't be. We have places where you can have it, but they don't want them open for environment. I had this one open. I had this one all ready to go. I hear they want to close it down for environmental reasons, and there is no environmental problem.
Incredible.
Okay, well, pick a tense and stay with it is what I'm saying. Because now they want to close it down for environmental reasons, but you said they already closed it down for environmental reasons, and then you opened it, but it was closed, and then it closed it again, and now they want to close it, and there was 44% in there. Dick Morris said something about 44%. Anyway, Biden is addressing this issue. It's happening. And if we really want to fix the supply chain, let's pass that infrastructure. But that's not bridges! Okay, we got more.
Well, I developed a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, and
North Korea.
We get no credit for that, but the fact is, for 4 years, we had no problem. We were getting along.
I mean, they were testing ballistic missiles, and last year they introduced multi-headed nuclear warhead missiles that could reach the United States and break through our defensive barriers. I mean, apart from every single American living in the continental United States being under the threat of nuclear annihilation from North Korea, we got along really well. We wrote letters. They were the nicest big love letters, giant envelopes.
And now he's very hostile toward Biden and the administration, very, very hostile. But the relationship was a very strong relationship, very good relationship.
So great. You know that Trump didn't have friends as a kid. He was a bully, and his parents sent him away to military school where he was picked on. Then once he was older, he was a bully again. But, you never hear about, like, Trump's childhood friend. They just don't exist. Whereas, like, every third day, Biden is at somebody's retirement party.
And it was really something that was going to lead to a deal. And now the relationship is gone, and
It was going to lead to a deal. He had 4 years to reach that deal. And every time the Koreans walked away from the deal. Remember Singapore? Remember how we caught John Bolton saying on Fox News Sunday? The story was that we'll go back a little bit. I have it somewhere, I think, but I'm not going to bother with it. Anyway, the line from the administration was, we walked away. I wasn't happy with the deal that Kim Jong, so I said, well, we're not going to take it. And they left the summit, right? But then he gave a big press conference, and North Korea had already packed up and left. Then on the Sunday morning shows, John Bolton admitted on Chris Wallace Fox News Sunday that Kim Jong-un got up and walked away from the table and left without the deal. And the Americans were left, well, there's an expression for it, but I don't want to use it in mixed company. And the very next program, Bolton said the opposite. Because someone in communication said, hey, no. That's not the story we're telling. And then Bolton wrote a book.
It's too bad. It's too bad.
It is too bad.
But no, he's been very hostile and, talking in a very nasty way to Biden.
Okay. He hasn't been talking to Biden. I think there's one more section here. Again, this is just excerpts from the interview. If you'd like to watch the full interview without my commentary, without education, without fact-checking, without the use of fair use, then just go to newsmax.com. They'll be happy to help you.
Now boys are just crossing the street without surgery or even hormone therapy. And
boys are just crossing the street. They're talking about transgender youth. But boys are just crossing the street. They're crossing the street. Is that an expression? To move from one side of the gender pool to the other? Is it even a gender pool? I guess it is. I got to be very careful using these expressions. But his expression is, boys are just, they're crossing the street. So, they're talking about transgenders, females competing in female athletics.
Announcing that they're girls and winning all the scholarships and the championships.
There's, as far as I've known, I did a little research on this. There's no example of a scholarship being taken away from a biological woman with a trans. Now, this will happen at some point. Is it that big of a problem? I don't know.
Should this be allowed?
It's insane. It's very unfair to women. It's going to destroy women's sports if it hasn't already done it.
It hasn't, and it won't. There will still be women's sports. Why? Does he think everybody wins the championship? There's like 16 teams in women's soccer. It wasn't a professional league, or is there a professional league? I don't want to get into it. There are all kinds of females competing in sports. My daughter plays sports with me. And I identify as a dog.
You look at some states, every single record is now held by a person who is a man.
Yep.
No. There is not a single state where all the records are held by a person who is a man. Not one. You look at some states, and all of the records are held by men. All of them. There are your athletic records, your Earth, Wind, and Fire records, all of them by men.
Just a little while ago, where they
in Connecticut, all 30 championships.
Weightlifting. A single record is now held by a person who is a man.
Yep.
Just a little while ago, where they
in Connecticut, all 30 championships.
Weightlifting.
In Connecticut, all through these championships. So there's a track and field situation where a couple of school records and I believe a state record is held by a transgender female. One of them finished first and second, two of them finished first and second in a meet. I don't know what that means in terms of college scholarships. Again, I did a search for college scholarship, couldn't find anything. Now, this will, as this permeates society, that will happen.
You look at,
but it's like they think that people choose to be transgender so they can win ribbons. I don't know what sport they think these transgender men are going to make millions in. Because if you look at all of the major sports with the big paychecks dominated by men, why wouldn't they just stay men? What is the motivation? If they identify as females and they want to run track with females, is it really hurting anybody that badly? Scholarships, yes, maybe. That's something to discuss. And maybe separate scholarship funds need to be set aside. I don't know. And I'm hoping that at some point there's some billionaire or huge celebrity out there or whatever that says, you know what, I want to establish a fund because I don't want transgender athletes to be blamed for taking away any opportunity from anybody else.
What's going on with the weightlifting records and the track and field records?
There is a transgender female in New Zealand who may in fact end up representing Oceania in the Olympics because she's a really, really powerful weightlifter and does hold some records for New Zealand or something along those lines. Again, it's not something I stay up at night researching, but there is some accuracy to what he says. Are they taking over the sports? Are women's sports now a thing of extinction? No, it's not even close. Plague says they should just have a co-ed league and then mostly female league and then a mostly male league and let the players choose. That's kind of what they have now for the most part. In every sport from wrestling to the hockey league that I play in. One of the hockey leagues I play in, there are females. I play on the same team with my daughter. Another more elite level hockey team that I play on, there's not a woman in the league. There are women's hockey leagues, too. I can't play in those. I'm okay with that. I mean, I guess I could. I play in an LGBTQ hockey organization. Some of my favorite people play hockey with me in this organization. So does my daughter. I am straight. My daughter? I don't know. I don't ask. Ew. Ew! Come on! The fact of the matter is, they are entirely inclusive. Would you like to play with us? Yes, please come and play with us. And in fact, it was through that organization that I got the opportunity to drop the puck at the Kings game just a few weeks ago. The Los Angeles Kings are a professional hockey team of all men.
And all of these records, and women aren't going to be able to compete. One young woman in Connecticut, she was the star.
She wasn't the star. She finished 8th. She was on Newsmax. She finished 8th in the race, and she's saying that I guess 7 transgendered people finished ahead of her. They didn't. But I also see their side of it. It's like, yeah, it does kind of suck. On the other hand, it's just running a track and field race. That's like, it would be like me taking tennis seriously. It's just tennis.
Runner in Connecticut.
I had her on my show a few weeks ago.
Oh, good. She was at the 80-yard line, and the race was over. The whole thing out of a 100-yard dash.
Good.
This is
so someone lost a race. Someone lost a 100-yard dash. I don't know if they still do the 100-yard dash. Isn't 100 meters? Hasn't America caught up with that? Do we still run the 100 yards in the United States? Somebody must know this. Somebody with a kid in high school or something. Aren't we on the metric system now for track and field like the rest of the planet? We can't still be running the 100 yards.
Insane, and it's going to destroy women's sports. Who's going to?
I'm not gonna talk about tennis while Joanna's here because Joanna's very upset because I've only lost once at Netsing tennis, and it was playing with Joanna as my partner. But then I played with Rona the other day and we won. So you do the math. But Joanna is awesome. And because of Joanna, our team is going to go to the sectionals or something. I don't really pay attention. I just like, where are we going? What are we doing? Okay.
How do you compete? It's so ridiculous. I can't even believe we have to have a conversation about it, actually.
You know what? I agree, and so do the judges. I can't believe we have to have a conversation about it either. It's an interesting question about the scholarships. Now, I've had this discussion with KevinlyFather. What I do with her is I try and show her the reasoning, if there is any, behind the opposing viewpoints. And she gets very angry at me and says that I support. I don't support people being excluded from things. But there are questions on both sides. There are reasonable questions on both sides, just that there are so many different issues. On a ton of issues, there's no reasonable question on both sides. Trump is all about both sides. But I think it's important to have that discussion. Otherwise, you end up with half the universe being really angry with Maggie Haberman just for reporting what Trump is saying. As I'm doing right here. Stop amplifying them! Stop giving them oxygen! You have to keep tabs on what these people are talking about. You really do. Or you end up with situations like Trump being president. And then you end up with situations like 1/6. I say 1/6 instead of January 6th or the insurrection because I'm one of the cool kids. You end up with situations like the dribble war where police officers perish, where a terrorist gets shot by a police officer and he has to live with that for the rest of his life. You end up with those situations because people weren't listening. You need to pay attention. You need to listen. And I have a video that someone shared from General Flynn's conference, his little get-together powwow down in Dallas the other day. And quite frankly, it is really disturbing. So maybe we'll share that later. I don't want to share it here. I don't know if showing that video, even with the sound off, is going to get me, I'm already harmful enough. I'm just going to hang on to it. I'm not going to show it. So I checked in on my monetization. For those of you who don't know, I've been demonetized for being harmful on YouTube. That was the word that they used. Even though I looked down the list of all the harmful things that you can do, and I don't do any of that stuff. But luckily, you can petition to get your monetization back, so you're not just doing this for free. And it says in about 30 days, we'll get back to you. So that was March 8th that I petitioned. So March, April, May, coming up on June here. 4 months is about 30 days, right? So any day now. Stephanie, yes, it was the one you posted in the DM. That video. It's very disturbing. Target markets over, it's basically saying the military has to take over the United States. There has to be an insurrection and a resurrection. Louis Gohmert was a guest speaker at this conference where they showed a video saying we need the military to have an insurrection so that we can have a resurrection. A sitting congressperson from Texas, Louis Gohmert, who I've long considered the dumbest congressperson. Marcy says that video is super hard to find, popular for a reason, 1984. I was canceled. I'm canceled constantly. It's because I'm a deceptive lib? No, wait, what am I? What was I called? A devious liberal, because I'm a devious liberal. That's what it is. Okay, guys, I think that's enough for now. I might come back and broadcast a little later today. Anybody else want to jump into the chat room and let us know anything that needs to happen? By the way, if you'd like to support me while I'm being demonetized, there's several ways you can do it. You can become a patron and just give me $1 a month or $30 a month or $30,000, whatever you want. KevinlyFather.com. I accept money on the Cash App. It's right there. If you don't have the Cash App and you live in the United States, do me a favor. Use that link up at the top there to get yourself the Cash App. It'll get you all kinds of rewards and money off coffee and discounts at Burger King. You can get yourself an Impossible Burger. That's pretty good. But if you send $5 in the Cash App, if you spend $5, send it to me, for instance, using $ KevinlyFather, and you'll get $5 back. You won't be spending a thing. Plus, I'll get a referral fee. Frank is down again. Thank you, Marcy. Frank is the website by My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell. They're having some kind of jamboree coming up as well with Salt and Pepper, so we'll check that out. Is it Salt and Pepper? Silk and Pepper. Silk and Pepper, that's who it is. Thank you, guys. Marcy helped me get that video. Thank you. Thank you very much to Marcy. We'll just we'll take a very brief look without even playing it start it up here. Give me a second here. It's loading. And you know what? It doesn't even want to play, so that's fine. We'll just bring it over here. And we'll close that window. But have a look at it yourself if you can find the video. It's tough to find. I'm not going to be posting it in here. I don't know. Trump, during the interview as well with Newsmax, watched the whole thing. He ragged on Fox and said Fox wasn't very good. But now they're getting better again. So it's just, in other words, now they're getting better again. It's always the same thing. And there go my studio lights. So I'm out of funds, everybody. If you want to send me money, PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, use the Cash App. I'm glad that I'm in the dark because maybe I've just helped shed my light amongst all of you. And we'll see you next time on whatever this is. All right. Take care, guys. Maybe we'll see you later today. We'll see. I get to play hockey later today. I'm so happy. If you'd like to help to pay me to play hockey, there you go. Sean says something. Hold on before... I know it's Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Salt, Tracy, I believe is what you mean. Let me just check out on YouTube and go back on the comments because I want to see what happened to Sean there. Looks like the sheep, we know him as Sean, is in trouble. Come on. Show me my live video. Nope, it's not going to let me do that. Just show it to me, YouTube. I want to see that comment. Content, yes. Step number 12, hit live. Step number this, go here. Step number 8, oh my God. By the way, some of you have been paying attention. I've been trying out, I did have YouTube TV. I've been trying out Sling. It just gets worse. I don't want to say it's bad. I want to say it's brutally awful. Everything I try and do with Sling somehow ends up sabotaging me. Let's see what Sean said there. Cubic zirconia and sow's ears is what Stephanie calls Diamond and Salt, and she's correct. You know what? Oh, okay. I'll be up if you do another one. A trapped nerve in my back is no fun. No, it's not any fun, Sean. So maybe we'll see you later. I got to figure out what to do here and get some stuff done. And we'll see you, if not today, probably tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Guys, take care. We'll see you next